go ahead and begin the lesson. So when we look at AutoCAD, we've had it open, and I'm going to have this open over here just to type in some notes so you can keep track of it, but you don't need that open. So we have AutoCAD open, okay, and you should be able to see your green and red arrow, and if you can't, just double click on the scroll wheel. So you double click the scroll wheel that's in between your two mouse buttons. It'll get you kind of close to where we are. So we're going to draw just some simple triangles, and we're going to use the absolute method, the relative method, and the polar method. But before we begin, we're going to, down here, we've got these little icons, and we're going to make sure all of them are turned off. And you can see up here in our command line, our best friend, that all of those are turned off. Okay, and so all of those should be turned off. None of them should be shaded blue. Okay, and that's just going to help us. It's going to make things easier for us as we're drawing. Okay, the only one that we want on is grid display, and it's the third from the left. Okay, so take a second just to get those prepared. Okay, so the tool that we're going to be using is the line tool. So we're going to click line. When we click line, notice what it does down here in the command line. It says line, specify first point. Okay, so we're going to specify the first point. The first point that we want to enter is 1, 2. We're going to press enter. Okay, and now you can just kind of move your mouse around. I'm not clicking on the mouse, I'm just moving it around, and I can see that it's anchored in at 1, 2, and I can move it freely. And so I'm going to put that information over here just so you guys know. I did a line, okay, and I started at 1, 2. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here. The next point, we're just going to enter in exactly the coordinates of where we want to go. So the next points that we're going to type in is 3, 2, and press enter. Okay, and so 3, 2. And so now it connected. Remember, there's 2 points necessary for a line, so we've got a starting and a finish point. So we've got 2 points. And then now it's anchored into here, and then I can go kind of wherever I want. And so I'm going to, doesn't matter where I'm pointing it, and I'm going to type in the next coordinates, which are 3, 4. So I'm going to type in 3, 4, and press enter. So now we've got what looks like an L, okay, a little backwards L there. These are going to be 2 parts of our triangle. Then to close the triangle, if you look down at the bottom, it says line. Specify next point. So I can keep on typing in points, or I can just press close or type in the letter C. So I'm going to click that with my mouse, and I just drew a triangle. So give yourself a round of applause. So this is our absolute method. Okay, and if you look at the instruction item, that's what we did. So our absolute method. Okay, and then we're going to do our relative method. So it's going to be based off of where we start. So that was our first triangle. So now we're going to do a new line. Right? This line is going to start at 4.5, 2. So I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to click, because my command line says I wasn't doing anything. So now I have line, specify first point. I'm going to type in 4.5, 2, and press enter. So I'm anchored down there. Now, I'm going to type in something special. And what that's going to mean is I'm going to type in at, and then I'm going to tell it what I want it to change. I want to change the x value by 2. So I want it to add 2. So I'm going to do +2, 0, and then I'm going to put a 0 in the y. And I put a 0 in the y coordinates because I do not want it to change the y. I don't want it to change the y value. I want the y value to be the same. So I'm going to type in, right, I'm anchored down, so I'm going to type in at 2, 0, and press enter. Notice it went 2 units, which in this case is inches, 2 inches to the right, so it changed the x value by 2, and then it did not move up or down because there's a 0. Well, now I want to move up, but I don't want to move in the x direction. So it's going to be at 0. I don't want to change the x, but I want to change the y. So at 0, 2. At 0, 2, and press enter. And there it is. It went straight up 2 inches and did not move left or right, did not change in the x. And then to close that, we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're just going to hit close. If we wanted to, instead of closing it, we could have gone this way and could have gone negative. So taking away from the x, we would have gone negative, or if going down, we would have taken away from the y, it would have been negative also. So there's that option. Okay, and then our third way to draw is polar. So we're going to do a line, and we're going to start at 8, 2, just like the diagram says. So the diagram says 8, 2, so we're going to do 8, 2. I'm going to grab line. Command line says line, specify first point. We're going to type in 8, 2. Okay, and we're going to press enter. So now we're anchored in. Now we're going to draw at a 45-degree angle. So we want to go up this way at 45 degrees. And if you look at the drawing, the diagram, it says 45 degrees. So I'm going to do at, and I'm going to type in my distance. My distance is going to be 1, and then the angle, it's right next to the M, angle 45. Okay, so I'm going to type in at 1, angle 45. And so it went 1 inch at 45 degrees. And so it's kind of like I explained, like a person with an arrow. If you're shooting an arrow, you want to know the distance. So how hard am I pulling? How hard am I shooting? And then what direction am I shooting? So here we did that same way. So we just shot it at 45 degrees. Now we're going to go 1, but going back this way. We're going to go back 90 degrees. So more than 45. So it's going to go not 45 more. So that's would be 90. We're going to go even further. So 45 plus 90, so we're going all the way back around, is going to get us at 135. Okay, so 90 plus 45 is going to get 135. So we're going to go at 1, angle 135. So let's type that in. At 1, the angle is going to be 135. And press enter. And there you see it went back 90 degrees. And then now to close it, just come down here and press close. So now I have my 3 triangles. I have my absolute method right here. Here I have my relative. And here I have my polar. Okay? Remember, if you're drawing and things get kind of messed up, you can always press escape to get out of it. And then you can always undo up at the top, right up there. You can undo the things that you did. Okay? Now you're going to try doing 0101 assignment. And that link is available to you, and then you're going to go ahead and do that one.